Hello, America. Welcome once again to another edition of Greg's List Live, your home for serious journalism. In fact, if serious journalism was a fleet of Zeppelins, we would be the Hindenburg. Who the hell writes this crap? Anyway, with us as always is the Greg American panel who are always on the ball with pithy commentary. You may have noticed a void in your life last week, and maybe you couldn't quite place what it was. Well, the buck stops here, folks. Greg's List did not produce any episodes due to a worker strike by the Greg American panel, who apparently are members of the Pundits Union, and they joined their Wisconsin brethren in a solidarity protest. I was a little perturbed by their antics, and I thought, what would Reagan do? So I fired all of them, and then I rehired them for lower pay and less benefits. Speaking of Wisconsin, the protesters are still there, and the 14 Senate Democrats are still hiding in Illinois. As you probably know, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has drafted a controversial bill designed to rein in the state budget deficit, and it also effectively declaws the public sector teachers union. The Wisconsin State Assembly passed a controversial bill last week, and the Wisconsin Senate now just needs one Senate Democrat to be present to produce a quorum for a vote, and then the bill will be signed into law by the governor. The trouble is, the 14 Senate Dems skipped the state a couple of weeks ago and have pledged to remain hiding out in Illinois until a compromise can be reached. Governor Walker has already sent state troopers to all the senators' homes, and he's also stopped direct deposits for their paychecks as methods of trying to lure them back, but nothing has worked yet. I think it's time they hired Dog the Bounty Hunter as a last resort, as we just need one of the runaways present for the vote. And also helping the case, Mayfield Dairy is coming out with new milk cartons featuring the 14 missing Democrats. These special edition cartons will only be available in Wisconsin and Illinois. Senators, got milk? On to Libya, where the Arab uprising has spread and incited the Libyan people to revolt against longtime despot dictator Muammar Gaddafi, who is now affectionately known as the Mad Hatter of Tripoli. Unlike the other Arab nation revolts, which have been relatively peaceful, the scene in Libya is chaos as the country hurtles towards open civil war. And Gaddafi has blamed the revolution on none other than Osama bin Laden and has vowed to fight to the death. Hundreds, maybe thousands have been killed so far, and the United States and Europe have finally frozen Libyan assets and threatened sanctions in an effort to bring about regime change, something that probably should have happened in the 80s. Our man, Son of Sam, is at an undisclosed location in Tripoli right now. Sam, are you available for comment right now? We had you on sat phone a second ago. Do we still have your connection?
Well, you know it's bad when people are fleeing here to go to Egypt. I'm embedded here in one of Gaddafi's mansions, and I've been trying on some of his hats. This guy has more hats than Omelva Marcos has shoes, and the noose is certainly tightening around his neck here, as revolutionary forces have moved into the western part of the country, and Gaddafi is to hire mercenaries to try and control the capital.
Well, Sam, thanks for the report there. We do need you to be careful. We want you to return home healthy, and we certainly don't want you turning into a hairpiece for the Mad Hatter of Tripoli. It's almost March, folks, and it's time for a weather update from our meteorologist, Perez, the teabagging weatherman. Perez, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Sugar cat. The snow around the country is disappearing faster than a bag of potato chips at Michael Moore's house. Spring-like temps have been found across much of the nation, making that little groundhog's prediction look dead on. The outlook is sunny and seasonal for the next couple of weeks in the south, while the west and midwest will feel the return of winter's chill.
Well, thanks for the weather update, P. We know we can always count on you for some great weather prognosis. You're almost as accurate as the Farmer's Almanac, really. And finally, folks, Muslim extremists are planning a day of rage right here in the good old-fashioned United States of America. Whether or not Muslim extremists Anjim Chowdhury, Abu Izzadin, and Saiful Islam will actually be able to pull it off or not remains to be seen. However, the trio are planning to stand on American soil in front of the White House on March 3rd and proclaim a call to arms in which they will call for Sharia law to be established across the United States. Anjim Chowdhury has been on several cable news shows already, and he's the same extremist who has insisted that the Islamic flag will one day fly over the White House. He also said that he anticipates that thousands will turn out. Whether or not this is a bunch of psychological warfare or whether there's truly been a focused organization going on behind the scenes will become evident. I used to have a day of rage every time the Georgia Bulldogs lost a football game, but those Arabs have really hijacked that phrase. Buddha, what do you got? You tell that Muzzy scumbag that if he comes within 50 miles of Washington, D.C., I'll shove so many hot dogs up his ass, he'll be puking pork in Pakistan. Well, Buddha, that sounds like a job for Barney Frank, but I do appreciate your skills of alliteration. Folks, that's going to wrap us up for another edition of Greg's List Live. We're looking forward to broadcasting on our regularly scheduled time. The real reason we were out last week, folks, they would never have the balls to strike on me, folks. The Greg American panel would never do that to me. I was a little bit under the weather, and, as you know, I have to do the voices, and they just don't come out too good when I'm feeling a little under the weather. So, anyway, we'll see you tomorrow on Greg's List. Have a good night.